Company on our radar today is Zaggle Prepaid Ocean Services, which is a SaaS fintech company, and the company's management is here with us. We saw a recent listing on September 22nd for this stock. It listed at par with the issue price of 164 odd levels, and we're now going to discuss more about the business outlook from the management. Mr. Avinash Ramesh joins in. He's the MD and CEO of Zaggle Prepaid Ocean Services Limited. Good morning to you, Mr. Avinash Ramesh, and thank you so much for taking the time out for this discussion. Sakshi, this side with me is my colleague Shail Bhatnagar. First up, if you could help all our viewers really get a sense of your business. It's not a business which is a very known business, a very popular business that people will understand very easily. So we would like you to explain to us what really happens, how do you really make money. These are a form of prepaid cards that you do for employee management and their expenses. Unable to understand if I should equate it to a Sodexo card or something like that. How should one understand this first?
Hi, Sakshi. Good morning. Good morning, Shail. Thank you so much for having me here. Appreciate it. So, look, the simplest way to explain the Zaggle business is as follows, right? It's a marriage of software, as in SaaS, and fintech. So, if you look at a consumer, a user, an employee of a company, or company itself, companies are fed up of multiple apps, multiple cards, multiple logins, multiple integrations. People want it simple. People want it very transparent, and people want the ability to be able to access all their monies in one place. Right? We are solving for that. It's a very simple use case. All companies have expenses. They have employee expenses. They have channel expenses. They have vendor payments. We bring it all onto a platform. Today, somebody comes in with a bill, a vendor or an employee who has incurred an expense on behalf of their company. What happens, Sakshi? Typically they send an email, right? They scan the bills, they send an email, they maybe fill up a form and attach it, and then it goes through a full loop in the cyberspace where the email gets copied to 20 people, and it's all manual, half manual, lost in cyberspace, suboptimal interactions. This causes a lot of leakage, especially for companies with lots of branches, lots of stores. So there's a lot of leakage that happens. There's a lot of manpower that gets hours that get wasted, just trying to make sure that these bills get cleared on time. And definitely the third software aspect, which many companies are now realizing, is there's a lot of frustration that gets built in with employees and with your vendors, that your payments are not getting processed on time. Similarly, for channel partners, when they generate sale for the company, a dealer, a distributor, their expectation is that their incentives get paid out quickly. They know when it's going to come in. They should be able to have a wide set of choices to be able to redeem those points. And in absence of that, again, they feel that they've been wronged. There's frustration that gets developed there. So what we are solving for is this frustration, bringing transparency, bringing speed, saving on costs in terms of man hours. That's what we do. The way we make money is we charge software fees to the corporate, and we earn through transactions. Every time you swipe a card, whether it's a prepaid card, whether it's our corporate credit cards, we earn through the partner banks. So we earn a significant part of the interchange.
Right. Hello, Avinash, and welcome to Business Today Television. Your operating revenue was somewhere like 553 crore rupees for the year gone by, the financial year gone by, FY23. And the PAT was somewhere like 23 crore rupees, if I'm not mistaken. How do you see the coming 2 or 3 quarters as far as the top line is concerned? And what is the utilization of funds when it comes to the IPO proceeds that you have raised? Where is fresh growth coming in for Zaggle?
Thank you, Shail, for that question. Very simple. There's growth coming in from all sectors, all corners, whether you look at our rewards platform, Propel, whether you look at our Save platform, which is our expense management and employee reimbursement platform, or our latest launch, which is our vendor payment platform. We are seeing growth in all segments because India is growing. Look, we are on a fast track as India in the fintech lane, in the digitization journey. And Zaggle, is at the forefront of that, that drive. The difference between a lot of other players who are in this space, as doing some parts of it, like a Sodexo that Sakshi mentioned and others. Either they're not fully digitized or they are not profitable. So what happens is when you grow, these companies tend to pile up their losses. Whereas in our case, we're able to grow fast because we're a digital company, we're a tech company, and we're able to do that profitably. So we see opportunity abound. We also see opportunity with our latest launches in the credit card space, the corporate credit card, that co-branded corporate credit card that we launched with Yes Bank. We work with multiple banks on the corporate credit card and the purchase card side. So the growth is very strong. We expect the growth. If you look at the past year's trends, we expect to outdo that in the coming quarters and years. Right. In terms of where the investment is going to be, the investment is going to be largely to make sure that the programs that we've launched, whether it's Zoyer, whether it's our corporate credit card programs, the uptake is strong, the retention is strong with both the users. And adding new corporates, obviously that's a big today. If you look at our business, the very vast majority of the sale is generated by sales that's done by the Zaggle sales team. So again, that's a very big differentiator. That unlike a lot of other partners, other fintechs who are heavily dependent on their partners to generate the sales, we have a very strong, robust corporate sales team spread across multiple cities pan India, and of course we have a digital sales team. So that helps us to be able to ensure that there's a step up on the growth as well.
Right. Avinash, I'd like some details on, what are the costs that you have to incur to acquire these clients, since a large portion of your fresh issue will also go in customer acquisition right there. If you could give us that sense. Also, since you pointed out that every time we swipe your card, you charge the consumer right there. So what is the average, charges per user, per swipe, if you could just mention that?
Sure. I'll take the second one first, actually. Just to clarify, we don't charge the consumer. What happens is we earn from our invoicing to the partner banks. The partner banks get paid by the networks, and the network gets paid by the acquiring bank. And eventually, actually it comes in some ways from the merchant's end, right? So to a consumer or a corporate, let's say you're making a transaction of 5,000 rupees, the corporate and the consumer user both get full value for that 5,000 rupees. They don't have to pay anything. And that's the way the model works. What the corporate pays is the software fees. Secondly, in terms of the use of proceeds, our large part of the money that we are raising is going into customer retention, which is basically a discretionary incentives that we give to a select cohort of users to drive certain behavior. When we acquire a large corporate like a Tata Steel or Persistent Systems or Greenply or Aeon, when these companies come on board, when their users get onboarded, when their employees get onboarded, initially they are not yet familiar with the platform. They are still not sure whether they should download the app, etc. So to nudge them to start using the platform, we give some incentives, and there are certain set of users who are habituated to these incentives from other platforms. So initially, to change that habit, to break that habit, to get them to register themselves on a Swiggy, a Zomato with our card, Amazon on our card, we provide certain incentives.
Also, Avinash, if you could just help us understand, I think your margins, they were 16% odd in FY22, but in FY23, we again saw a dip. It almost halved to 8% odd. Could you help us understand what is the margin outlook? How do you plan to sustain them? What would be the band at which we can see the margin sustained really for you?
Sure. So EBITDA margins moved up dramatically also in FY22, Sakshi, and then they were a little lower in FY23 on account of a couple of things. In FY22, in September 22, once it was clear that we were going to go IPO, we decided to give ESOPs to all our employees, right? Right from the junior most person to the senior most person. And that meant that you take an ESOP hit cost. But it was an emotional call. You could say that Raj, our founder, and I, and the rest of the senior leadership decided to do that because we wanted to spread the wealth. We wanted everybody to participate in the growth story of Zaggle as potential shareholders. So there's a cost that we took last year, which was about 14.5 crores. We also invested heavily in building our corporate credit card business. And we spent about 14 crores there. Again, all of that was fully expensed out. So if you add these two line items, it's about 28 crores, which was either not there in FY22 or is something which is going to yield tremendous results in the coming years, right? Both in the corporate credit card, and we genuinely believe the ESOP piece. So that's why there was a slight compression in the margins in FY23. Having said that, we are very confident about having very strong margins in the coming years, quarters.
Right. Avinash, thank you so much. Sakshi took a very important clarification from you. Where does the money come from? And definitely it's not coming from the consumer. Therefore, Sakshi is very happy. She shops a lot, and it's very critical that she gets every penny's
Full value.
worth. All the luck to
Absolutely.
you. And we hope
Thank you.
that everybody in Zaggle makes a lot of money post the ESOP as well as post the listing. Good having you. And let's hope Zaggle dazzles on the charts as well in the coming months and coming quarters. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you so much, Shail and Sakshi. Thank you so much for having me.